Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Heart Talks. Today's episode is so long overdue, and when you find out the topic, you will 100% agree with me.
So basically, we're taking a little trip, not physically, but in our minds, to one of the richest cities in the world, Hong Kong.
When someone says the words Hong Kong, to me, all I can think of is the fanciest hotels, the fanciest malls, amazing skylines, great companies, and also the Hong Kong cage homes.
So they're tiny metal boxes people actually live in. Let's talk about the side of the city that doesn't make it into travel vlogs.
The cage homes are something which tourists try so hard to ignore in Hong Kong, but it's honestly about time someone starts talking about them. Cage homes refer to these, small apartments which have been broken down into further smaller living places in which you have like thousands of people crammed into the smallest places. So, the concept of these cage rooms or these cage houses actually believes in a communal living. Imagine one normal size apartment, an apartment that is meant for one single person to live in, a studio apartment. Now imagine this single studio apartment being cut down into like further, like more rooms, being cut down into like 7 or 8 rooms. Now this, by the way, leaves your kitchen and your living space, like your living areas aside. You have 7 or 8 rooms in the rest of it in one room. The only way for the habitants of this place like get privacy is by locking up their own beds into cages. That means that you will see singular beds being placed with actual like mesh cages around them.
So now imagine that's your bedroom, your living room, and your storage space, all in one. Welcome to life in Hong Kong's cage houses.
Thousands of people, mostly older men, low income workers, and even some younger folks, manage to live in these tiny spaces, paying rent for something smaller than a closet. I mean, if you were to go up and if you were to search out what the cage houses look like, I find it to be so fascinating how people even manage to agree to pay rent for places like that.
So how did we get here? In short, the space is limited, the demand is high, and housing is super expensive.
Hong Kong has a huge population packed into a very small space. Land is scarce, and government housing is not available for everyone.
Private apartments, out of reach for many. Even a small flat can cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, or rents that eats up most of someone's income.
But it's also very important to remember the history behind all of this. So, in 1972, the British colonial administration sought to expand Hong Kong beyond its already highly urbanized regions into, the Hong Kong Island and Kowloon. The new territories, the vast swath of rural, dense, lying to the north of the city, was a natural site for development. It was obvious that the British colonial administration would develop there. So, in seeking to court indigenous villagers, the administration implemented the small house policy, which basically meant that if the indigenous people agreed to like make smaller houses, like small, like square foot houses, the government would fund all of this. So, this policy only served to construct the supply of developable lands for non indigenous residents, which means that all the indigenous residents were being moved into smaller houses to give more land for the non indigenous residents, something which is clearly very political. In 2017, the city's outgoing chief executive, Carrie Lam, called for a reasonable resolution to the issue. A new modus vivendi, balancing all parties' interest, is very much the need of the hour.
So now, is there anything being done for these cage houses? So basically, there are efforts. NGOs in Hong Kong are working to help people move into better housing. The government has plans to build more affordable units, but it's slow.
And while luxury apartments rise into the crowds, people on the ground are still waiting. If you look at a city like Hong Kong, or even if you look at a city like Mumbai, you have the biggest skyscrapers right next to slums. And that is honestly something to think about because because income inequality is such a real issue right now.
So it's a powerful reminder about a city's success shouldn't just be measured by its skyline, but also by how it treats people who build it.
So the next time you think of Hong Kong, think beyond just the lights. Think about the cages and especially think about the people inside the cages. It would take 23.2 years for someone earning the medium gross household income in, Hong Kong with absolutely no expenditure to be able to be able to afford a small sized apartment. And this is the reality for so many people in Hong Kong.
So this isn't about pity, it's about awareness, about making better questions and demanding better answers.
So those were the cage houses and the reality of Hong Kong on the Heart Talks. So thank you so much for joining us today and we hope to see you next episode too.